Hey there, it's Professor Bernstein, and in this video, I'm going to guide us more fully into an exploration of what it means to experience and know Thoreau. And in order to do this, I'm going to introduce you to some basic ideas about aesthetics and style. If you're in my Thoreau class, you'll recall that we began the semester by thinking about, what does it mean to know an author? And I called your attention to how the college in the course catalog describes the major authors classes. In the catalog, it says that these classes are supposed to provide students with an intensive study of the work of a major author and to teach them about the cultural and historical context from which the work emerges. And students are expected to be able to demonstrate their mastery of this material. Knowing important issues and points that an author makes and understanding the cultural context and historical context within which this writer's work emerges, these are all important and good things. But something's missing here, something really important. Your approach to studying and getting to know an author leaves you out in a significant way. You're just sort of absorbing knowledge and then demonstrating that you have this knowledge. Your experience of the author's writing, your felt response to it, is left out of the picture. Lindsay Waters, the executive editor for the humanities at Harvard University Press, points out that this is just a big problem within literary studies in general, especially literary studies as they're practiced in America. He argues that literary scholarship has become disconnected from life and declares that something else, even more suspicious, has happened to professional criticism in America over the past 30 years, and that is its love affair with reducing literature to ideas, which is not at all the same thing as art. Waters explains that literary criticism no longer aims to appreciate aesthetics, to study how human beings respond to art. Do you get dizzy when you look at a Turner painting of a storm at sea? Do certain buildings make you feel insignificant while others make you feel just the right size? Without understanding that intensely physical reaction, scholarship about the arts can no longer enlarge the soul. Let's consider this for a few moments. Let's get really clear about what Waters is saying here. First of all, Waters is providing us with a very simple, useful definition of aesthetics. And keep in mind, there are many nuances to this study and to what aesthetics is, but this is just a really nice, useful starting point. Aesthetics is the study of how we respond physically through our senses to art. He's also touching on something else that's really important to consider. He says that this physical reaction to art is what connects art to our lives. And right now, as I'm saying this, I'm also thinking about what Thoreau says about the written word in the reading chapter and why the written word is so powerful. So we'll look at that passage a little more in class. And it's this physical connection, this aesthetic reaction to a work of art that has the capacity to enlarge the soul. So what do you make of what Waters is saying here in relation to what we've been discussing so far in relation to Thoreau, Romanticism, and Transcendentalism? How does taking a physical, felt response to Thoreau and his writing, how does that help us better know and understand and experience him? Does it? Why not? How can it enlarge our souls? What does it even mean to study our physical reaction to a work of art? Has this way of approaching literature ever factored into one of your college level classes? Now, I know this approach might be new to some of you, so I want to give you two examples. I'm going to give you one example from Waters' article and one example from my own experience as a literary scholar. Waters says that a criticism devoted to aesthetics might take a novel like Theodore Dreiser's Sister Carrie and note how its main character, Caroline Niebuhr, again and again finds herself in front of sheets of glass, store windows, mirrors that seem to beckon her in. The question would not be whether her vanity or love of material objects is good or bad. It would be how Dreiser invites all of us to fall through the glass with Carrie, to become part of the story and experience ourselves as vain and frail and ambitious. So with this approach, our focus would not be on the ideas of the story or figuring out if they're good or bad or right or wrong, so much as it would be experiencing for ourselves what Carrie is experiencing as she's beckoned in by all these sheets of glass. Be experiencing this through the author's language and style and our felt response to it. Now let me give you an example from my own experience. And this experience emerged when I was reading Jonathan Edwards. Jonathan Edwards was an 18th century American philosopher and theologian. And I was reading an essay of his on being. And this essay begins with a 224-word sentence. And it was so painful to read the sentence. I felt trapped. I felt like we weren't making any progress. We were sort of like moving forward and then all the way backward. And I was so irritated by it and annoyed by it that I really, the first time I read it, I threw the book across the room. The sentence was so ugly and unpleasant. Now, I could have just dismissed this essay as a not very good piece of writing by Edwards. Or I could have just said, I don't care. It's so frustrating. I don't even want to take it seriously. But instead, because Edwards matters to me, I decided to probe my feelings about this sentence and how and why this sentence was making me feel this way. Then, as I was studying my felt reaction, my felt response to the sentence, I connected it to what it was that Edwards was trying to prove in this essay. And what I discovered really is that this irritation and annoyance was really crucial to the argument that he was trying to make about the impossibility of there existing a state of perfect nothing. So I really took my experience seriously, but I didn't just keep the text here and then dwell on my feelings. It was sort of like I read the text, I probed my feelings that emerged in relationship to the text, and then I started thinking, how does this feeling and this language connect with the point that he's trying to make? So when you're reading Thoreau, I really do want you to think about how his words, sentences, paragraphs, and even chapters make you feel. You might even want to consider things like the pacing of Walden. Is it fast? Is it slow? Is it really slow in some parts and really fast in other parts? How does this make you feel? Why do you think an author like Thoreau might slow the pace down at this certain point or make the pacing faster at another point? The feeling that you have when you're in these sentences and paragraphs and chapters, is that somehow crucial to the project of Walden? So there's no formula that I can provide you for how to approach a text from an aesthetic point of view. I can't just map out for you, do this, step 1, step 2, step 3, steps 4. It's more about taking your feeling seriously, letting yourself become aware of how you're feeling in relationship to a text, thinking about how a text is making you feel this way and why. And this is something that we can explore in our discussions. And if you're not in my class, feel free to leave comments and questions under the video, and I can sort of engage you in a discussion about them. That's it for now. Again, if you like this video, I'd love it if you liked it and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye.